Okay. God, I hope I'm gonna pull this up. Let me pull this. I want to see the replay of my live. I noticed on Friday that this freaking mic, for some reason, had a distortion on it. And I don't know why. So, if I sound distorted, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Current live stream. I'm going to try and turn the volume up on this. Had a distortion on it. And I do have a distortion on it. I don't know why. So, if I sound distorted, let me know in the chat. Audio input capture. Let me know in the chat. Current filters. I'm going to try and turn the volume up on this. I guess there's no audio filters. Audio input. Let me see if that helps a little bit. I'm just going to test it. Audio input capture. Filters. I guess there's no audio filters. Let's see. Sorry to waste your guys' time on doing this, but I'm just going to test it. Doo-doo. Let's see. Testing the audio. Just trying to see if I still sound distorted or not. Maybe I'll go to the internal microphone on the Mac. Let's see. Sorry to waste your guys' time on doing this, but I don't know why. Maybe this. Let's see. Maybe this. Testing the audio. Just trying to see if I still sound distorted or not. Maybe I'll go to the internal microphone on the Mac. Okay, it sounds a little better. Hit the thumbs up. Boom. Okay, I'm turning down the volume now. I'll watch for your chats over here. Okay, and then I gotta get myself set up. Okay, multi-stream. Okay, what stocks am I going over today? Actually, Tom just brought up on Twitter. Viper Energy. VNOM. I'm going to quit my notes. Quit everything except for what's going on. Okay. Viper Energy. Let's bring this up. Whoo, look at 198. I don't think you guys can see that. Yeah, see? Down by my picture down there, where it says performance chart, that 198% is the performance of the asset in my algorithm. It says versus, and there's a 319% for the asset performance by itself. So if you just bought this 1,000 candles ago, you'd be up 319%. And you guys can't see this, and I've got to figure this out, but I kind of cut off that right-hand side. There's 23 positions in 1,000 candles. You win 48% of the time, and your average win is 16%. But the buy-in here was at 27 on September 30th, and that MACD, I know you guys can see that MACD. See down where my cursor is? Holy crap. It's a great one. Venom has been great. Let me bring up my notes on my iPhone. So I started out the podcast talking about strategy. Jackson from Instagram wanted to know about strategy. How I came up with the MACD. I've said this on YouTube. Open up a new tab in your browser if you're watching me on YouTube, and just look up Trading Rush MACD backtesting. You can leave out the backtesting part, I think. But just look up Trading Rush. You'll see they backtested the MACD and I think it's on a I think they capped it at a 10% gain on the top and a 5% gain on the loss, and he made like 60%. I mean, it was crazy. And this was this was 2020 that I found that video. And I said, the MACD is probably the best one. So Jackson wanted to know about my strategy. Go listen to the podcast. I'm not going to go over it, but it's good if you're driving. Listen to the podcast on that one. Another person from Instagram, Alex, wanted me to look up Apple, AMD, and Disney. And so I went over these charts. And again, anything under 140 for Apple. Let me see if I'm up today. Let me log in. Boom, boom, boom. Log in. Send security code. Let's see. Sorry to take your guys' time, and just the market opened up and I wanted to see. Yeah, I'm down, but it's only by 0.3%. But it's probably because of Apple. Let me see. All investments, Apple is down. Apple's down 0.52%. Yeah. Apple makes up all of my losses. Whew. So, other than Apple, I'm probably even. But Apple here, you can see, right now I would not buy Apple. And the reason I would not buy Apple is because of this MACD. And it's probably going to get you out of this Apple. Now, the RSI is at 33. So do I think it's got a lot more to fall? I don't think so. But the overall market is where Apple is going to be taken. And the key point this week is going to be inflation. And if inflation numbers continue to go up or even stay the same, you're going to see Apple fall down to the 120s. So I wouldn't buy it here, even though that 145, if you bought it in the 140s, you won't be upset. Again, Apple is one of those where you could hold on to it. In my mind, you could hold on to it. Wow. S&P Q4 estimates. Energy up 62%. Communication services down 9%. Financials down 3%. Consumer discretionary down 3%. Apple, you could hold on to even through any downturn that we see. And it'll come back. So if you bought it at the 140s, don't be upset. You'll have a chance to get it, in the 130s. Remember what I said. If you're establishing a long position, you want to buy in lots. If you want to buy 100 shares of Apple, $14,000 worth, and you want to buy 100 shares, buy 20 at 140. If it goes down to the 130s, buy another 20. If it goes down to the 120s, buy another 20. If it goes up to the 150s, buy another 20. Just establish that position so that you get a good dollar cost average in there. But Apple, let's go over to FinViz and I'll show you. Apple, so the PE, the second column on the right-hand side, 23.15. The market wants Apple to grow their iPhones in order to justify that 23. And you had heard reports previously that the iPhones are having trouble getting some buys. So I bought an iPhone 13 right before the damn 14 came out, like a week before, because I was going on a trip and I wanted the camera. There's not a significant difference. I am semi-happy that I bought the 13, and the reason I'm semi-happy I bought the 13 is because I am planning on going to Europe, maybe Canada, somewhere in the near future. And if I want to get some type of foreign phone number, when I travel to Europe, typically what I do is I go to the city center, go into one of the cell phone stores, and they'll sell me a SIM card. Well, the 14 doesn't have SIM cards. It's all eSIMs. So, I don't know what the prices are for an eSIM in Europe right now. But from what I hear, SIM cards, the SIM card that I got last time I went to Europe in 2019 was $10. It included, I think it was like 100 gigs of data for a month, which I knew I wasn't going to use anything close to that. And so it included all roaming and everything. It was like $15-$20 for the month, versus $10 a day on Verizon. So, but Apple, that's where that 23 wants to come down to 17. So I don't think you're getting yourself in for anything bad if you bought Apple anytime recently. But I do think anything under 140, I think it's a great buy on Apple. Now, I've said that all the way down from 180. You know, I'm definitely biased on that one. AMD, we had a downturn on AMD. And the reason we had a downturn is because the Biden administration is getting, pretty aggressive with some of these chips. They're not allowing imports of Chinese chips. AMD announced last week that their inventory levels are super high. They're going to see a downturn. You got out of that last buy, this buy at October 3rd at about $65. You got out of that one. And the MACD's crossing down. The RSI is at 25. Here's the thing, and this is, I'll show you the simple reason. As far as chips go, see the PE is 24. This company is down 60% year to date. You can't have a PE of 24 and be down 60%. It's going to want to go down even more. The one I like, Qualcomm. Qualcomm pays you a small dividend of about 2.48%. They're only down 33%. Right about 120 is the buy-in for Qualcomm. If you wanted to trade, let's look at, I think it was, you're still in the trade on Qualcomm, but like I said, there's a slight button hook happening. And Qualcomm's being brought down just from the chip sector overall. But it has less to fall than like AMD and Nvidia and that stuff. But you can see that button hook right there. So if you're trading at 116.98 right now, I think you've got a pretty good sense that it's not going to quote unquote get you all the way out. This one may. But if you want to trade the chip sector and trade it, SOX S. So that's the one where you want to buy in. SOX S. It's a short. It's a triple levered short of the chip market. And you'll see, God, this has been such a great trade. This one got you out with a 48% gain, a 48% gain right there on October 5th. It hasn't gotten you back in. The MACD, ironically, is just crossing up. See that? So you could have a chance to get into SOXS and still have room to run at $68, even though the buyback here on August 5th was $35. But it hasn't gotten you back in. It dipped down here at 47 right at the beginning of October. So you've got a chance to get into this one pretty well. Check my Twitter out down here. I'll show you. And we'll go to my profile. By the way, if you ever want to get more follows on Twitter, just put out a service call for a new logo. I put out that I wanted a new logo for the podcast because I don't like the logo that I currently have. But put that out. I must have gotten 50 replies from people. This right here. This tweet. Analysis of Tesla from Stock Market Mentor LLC. Dan Fitzpatrick does a fantastic job looking at Tesla and why I think it's going down to 205, 210, somewhere in that neighborhood. But Tesla has a fault. I told you that I wanted to buy Tesla, re-put in my 50%. It's up slightly today. It's capitulating. It's kind of putting in a floor at that 220 kind of space. But you'll see the MACD is nowhere near crossing up. Their earnings are coming out, the catalyst, October 19th. But look at that MACD. It ain't moving down, up, let's pull this up. There we go. Still got a ways to go to cross up. And your RSI is at 23. You can try and time it. But I don't think it's, again, I'm not buying and hoping. If you're buying and hoping, you're probably doing yourself a disservice. So that was a good one. One that I think held up well is Snowflake. I think it's down today, down 2.57%. I said I own this at 180. I'm probably going to double down. I did half my lot at 180, I think. And it was a while ago. It was a few months ago around their earnings where I bought it at 180. Probably should have sold with my 20% up above 200. But I didn't. This has a buy-in here at 175. Hasn't gotten you out because the MACD has not crossed down. It probably will today. But at 170, I think, again, you've kind of been capitulating here between 170 and 210. I think it's a good opportunity. And this is one, while it is super, super expensive and it's not making money, this is one that I think everybody agrees on. You could buy this one for a long time and just hold it. And that's why I like it. Weekly stock pick. He picked Merck. And let me see. He usually emails out that he got in. Let's see. He has not emailed out that he got in yet. So, welcome to new subscribers, by the way. Cameron, I think, just subscribed. Just got that alert before I humped on. 87.83 was the buy. You're way up this morning. 91.32. God, what happened to Merck? Let's see. They got a boost. PE's at 13. This one's up 14% year to date. There we go. Guggenheim, neutral to buy. Look at the buy. 3 buy ratings, 102. It's trading not even close to there right now. Look at that. 2020 changed the world list for expanding across HPV vaccines. Merck's blood vessel disorder. Yeah, a bunch of Merck announcements. So it's up at 91. You had this MACD cross up here at 87.83. You've got their earnings coming out. The weekly stock pick, he actually trades this one. He trades weekly. He does some options play that he emails you out. So here, I'll show you his Twitter. Let's see. Weekly stock. Oh, my computer is just so slow. No. We're going to go back. Weekly stock. Let's see. Sorry to make you guys wait. There it is. My weekly stock. Right there. That's him. Subscribe to his Twitter. Subscribe to his newsletter. I think he's got the link up in the top. Yeah. My weekly is Substack. It's fantastic. Go and subscribe. He's great. Love it. Bond markets are closed today, so you will not see stocks slide down based on bond rates going up. Ford and GM, they were downgraded. The only one I would trade is Ford, and this is a complete hype trade. This is because Jim Farley, the CEO, emails Jim Cramer on a regular basis, and Jim Cramer loves Ford. The stock has been horrific. Jim Cramer recommended this one at 20, just so you know. It's at 11.32. I think if you can get this with a 10 handle, I think 10 anything is great because I think it trades up to 15 on hype. The reason it was downgraded and the caveat to having it and holding it at 10 would be, and again, this is a trade. This is once you make money, take your profits. The caveat is the downgrades came because Ford and GM are producing cars in record numbers. They are pushing their factories beyond belief. And they think there will be a glut of cars come next year. If we do go into a recession, you're going to see a glut of cars. So those two companies, I think that's an issue. Goldman Sachs, by the way, says they've seen a huge inflow to money markets, cash from retail investors. So retail investors seem to be getting out. It's usually when you want to get in, to be honest with you. Boyle, I talked about it. Boyle is up in pre-market. I think it's at 54. It closed at 51. I think the buy-in here was at 53. So you're finally up at 54. Hold on, I'm trying to see if my dogs are at the door. No. Okay. 53 is the algorithm. You have a little bit of gap here at about 50. I guess my dad's going to the gym, so the dogs are going to bark and want to come in. You're capitulating here around 53, 54. I think it's a great time to get into UC or Boyle, because I think as we head into winter, you're going to see a cold winter and you're going to see natural gas prices go up. I talked about it. There's a gap up there around 100. I wouldn't expect that to be filled anytime real soon, but I do like it. Now, UCO is a different story. UCO, we had a buy-in here at around 27, I think. Wait for this one to pull up. You got gaps that have been filled. 27.94 on September 29th. You're trading at 34. That's what, a 30% profit at this point? Fantastic, fantastic play here. And oil is down today. It's got a green candle, so it's starting to move up again. But oil is there's some question about Chinese demand, and will the Chinese just buy a bunch of Russian oil and blah blah blah. Buy any energy on pullbacks. PXD is one that I've been touting lately. It's had quite a run, but I like it. There goes my dad to the gym. By the way, and I will say this over and over again, I will not be live on YouTube tomorrow. I will not have a podcast tomorrow. I am driving back to Atlanta. September 30th at 2:14. The button hook is starting to form on energy. But again, on this weakness, I would say you buy. On any of this weakness, any weakness, you buy. It's just been oversold right now. And I'll do this a little bit in a little bit, but we'll look at a 3-year chart of XLE versus XLK. But Pioneer, Oxy, Devon. The reason I like Pioneer right now, and we looked at Viper, VNOM, but Pioneer, they have a 10 PE. It's a 9.9% dividend. They're up 51% year to date. Look at Chevron. They have a 10 PE. It's only a 3.55, and I say only, but it's a 3.55% dividend. They're up 36% year to date. You look at Venom. Let's look at Viper. I always call it Venom just because of the symbol. But Viper, they have a PE of 22, but they have a 10.22% dividend. Look at Oxy. Oxy is one. Their PE is 6, and they have a 0.74% dividend. This one's up 140% year to date. It's because, but look at that channel that it's trading in. You're still not at its high of 75. You're at 69. You see that little downturn right there? It's called weakness. So this will provide some resistance level up here at 75. I don't know that you'll necessarily break it, but you got support here at about 55. Like I said, anything under 60, you buy this all day long. Anything over 60, when it shows weakness, you trade it. Let me see if I think the dogs need to come in. Okay, come on. You can come in. Yes. Okay. There you go. Go to bed. Daddy's doing stocks. So yeah, energy, buy it on weakness all day long. Rivian, I went over this. They are having a recall. They're recalling all 15,000 of their cars, and the reason they're recalling them is there's a bolt in the steering column that's loose. This is not making money. This is trading at 65 times sales. That's huge. It's down 67% year to date. Everybody expecting this to be the next Tesla. It is not. If you have a loose steering bolt, and I say this, I live in Atlanta, I'm here in New Jersey, I have yet to see a Rivian. The problem is, I think I've seen some in Atlanta, none here in New Jersey. The problem with the the loose steering column thing is this recall. They don't have service centers. So anybody who's in a place where they don't, oh, and you guys can't see the PE on some of these when I don't scroll down. I'm just noticing that. So when you don't have a service center, where do you take your car to get serviced? So A, it's not making money. B, they have a recall. C, it's super expensive. So just invest in Tesla. TQQQ under 20 again. Let's look at this turn. Remember how I said TQQQ is a triple levered. I've said this many a times to you guys. It's triple levered ETF on the triple Qs, the NASDAQ. This one moves quick. It moves fast. And I think we went all the way up to 25, 26. We went close to 24. And now we're back here. And it still hasn't gotten you out, by the way, from that last trade. It will today. Because look at that MACD. If we wind up going down today, there is downward pressure on the market. But look, that MACD is about to cross down. But I like trading TQQ. Anything under 20, I think you can trade it. I think you can get into this one, and at some point it comes back to 20. I think this one is one that if you want to hold it a couple of weeks or something like that, you can absolutely trade it. I don't think there's a problem trading this one. I'm trying to bring this MACD down a little bit so that I can see the chart a little bit better. Because the MACD you can kind of see anyway. And what did I do? I just moved it a little bit. We're going to center that. Oh, why is it not doing this? This isn't TrendSpider. This is my computer. I have a MacBook Pro, 2015 MacBook Pro. And it does not seem to do well with OBS, which is the live stream that I do. DRV, we talked about short on this one. This has been just a historic trade. This is like Boyle back in June. Boyle when it went from 40 up to 120 on the algorithm. This one, it has not gotten you out. I talked about it last week, how it faked out. 47.60 and you're trading at 74. Doesn't have a button hook yet. So, but one of the scans that we have came up. So let me see if I can do this. CNBC.com. I like to use CNBC to do comparison charts. I think TrendSpider has a way to do this, but so what we're going to do is I am going to pull up a chart. S&P falls as investors weigh upcoming earnings. Let's pull up XLE. Let's see what happens here. We're going to pull up this XLE, and then I'm going to compare it. And I think there's a 3-year option, but maybe not. Let's see. What I hate about CNBC is that they put all these charts up, but they don't use their own program to look at charts. We're going to look at a 5-year. We'll look at 5-year. We'll go to 5-year and we'll do a comparison. That's XLV versus XLK, which is the technology. So here, the green is XLK. Let's see. I think I can move it. Can I move this in? We're going to move this into there we go. That's perfect. So the green is XLK, which is technology. The red is XLE, which is energy. Look at the return of energy compared to the return of technology. Energy, you have this huge run up here in technology up to January 2022. but it's pulled back as you've seen energy continue to flow. So this is just a percentage gain in that period. Over here on the left, we've got time down at the bottom. We've got percentage gain on the right. They're converging. And so when people ask me, hey, is energy, is it too late to get into energy? Well, is it too late to freaking get into technology? Because over 3 years, you've kind of gained the same amount. It's interesting. And by the way, if you love this chart, hit the thumbs up. You can see it. I'm looking at it on my iPad. But I love energy. I still think you can get into energy. Energy's a little bit weak today, but I think you can pull it back and just look at it. Scans for today that had cross ups. One thing, CS, Credit Suites. I talked about Credit Suites. Talked about it last week, how Credit Suites, you could bet on it. Their earnings are coming up. They've got a catalyst. They have some announcement about restructuring. Lord knows what that's going to do to the actual stock, but October 26th, you had a MACD cross up here, 416. That was when the news kind of broke over that weekend. October 4th. Over the weekend last week, last Monday, it was thought, hey, we're going out of business, blah, blah, blah. We're going to have defaults. Well, none of that happened. It traded from 416 all the way up here to about 479, which is a good move. Again, what's that? 20%? 10%? Somewhere in that neighborhood. It's over 10%. But you've got a good move there. If you want to buy this, I would say anything under a 450 handle, like right now at 445. I don't think it's bad to buy it right there. You've got this kind of VWAP line right here at about 412, 416. I think if you can get in the 430 handles, it's even better than 445. But I do think that's probably one that I might trade going into earnings. There might be some hype play there. You might see some good stuff. But scans, BITI, which is a short on Bitcoin. Now, here's the thing. This thing doesn't even have enough candles to go back 1,000 candles. It's only 4 months old. But we had a MACD cross up here. There are significant gaps down below. And that's with the cross ups of Bitcoin and kind of Bitcoin flying. But you got these gaps down here. I don't know that I'd necessarily play this one, but since I do trade the Greystone scale, the GBTC, ETHE, those are the two that I trade. But it's hard. It was hard finding cross ups. Another one that crossed up is SRS. This is similar to DRV, and I said it's a triple levered on the real estate market, a short on the real estate market. So it's gone well. You have this cross up here at 1628. Then you had this fake out just like you had for DRV. And then you have this button hook starting here. The RSI is at 68. So I said I'd rather trade DRV on this just because I'm more familiar with DRV. So any questions or anything, hit me up on chat. I'm probably going to get out of here. It's 10:14. I got to go for a run. And again, no podcast tomorrow, no YouTube live tomorrow. I'll put up a short tomorrow, just announcing that I won't be on tomorrow. But if you have any questions, hit me up. Let's see. How far am I down now? Yeah, 0.8. I was 0.3% down earlier. 0.8 now. Okay. Oh, if you guys don't have questions, I'm going to head out. Oh. I need to try and figure out why you can't see more of this. I need to expand this a little bit and Safari. Let's command. We'll move that in a little bit. How's that one? We'll move it a little bit more. There you go. Okay. I think that's a little bit better. So we can actually see. Oh, I shouldn't make myself that small. I shrink my OBS down to as small as possible. I don't know why it's doing that, but okay. Any other questions from you guys? Again, I'm going to leave this one up. Cameron, XOM. Yeah, let's look at XOM. I own, Cameron, you may be new. I don't know. I think you just subscribed this morning to my YouTube. But XOM, I own a significant amount of. I want to say it's in six figures, I think. So it's doing the same thing as All Energy. So you had this buy-in here on September 29th at 88. And you have this little gap right here, which may need to be filled. It's a gap up. It'll be filled on the way down. It's at about 88 to 89. So 88 to 90, I would say, is the gap. OBS on an external SD. Hey, Jesse, man, you might be right. Kudos to my weed dealer, Jesse, over there. But sorry, Cameron. XOM. So you have this buy-in on September 29th at 88.97. You have earnings coming up, so it's a catalyst on October 27th. Here's what you have to know about XOM. It is trading at $100. XOM, to me, that $100 is a key level. It has provided significant resistance before. And I'll move to a daily chart to show you why that resistance is there. Because, and let's move this out to, and I'll shrink this down. And we'll move this down here. There we go. Okay. See that top right there at 104? It's moving further away from the 200-day. That line right there is the 200-day. This is a daily. And you can see it's using this one as support. And so as it pulls away, those Bollinger Bands expand. And you can even see when they expand way out, like this did, it's trading outside on the upper end of the Bollinger Band, it wants to pull back. And so every time it gets to 100, it pulls back in that same fashion. You're going to have a double top here at about probably 104, and you're going to see it pull back. If it breaks that 104, we could be off to the races because there is nothing in the upward realm of this that provides resistance other than the previous high. And let's look at XOM here. Let's see if FinViz. You guys can use FinViz, by the way, Cameron. Use FinViz to look at a lot of this stuff because they pull up a chart and they do have auto trend lines. And you can see, boom, the short-term trend line right there. This is a medium-term trend line. These are long. That's a long-term trend line, bottom trend line. And you want to trade the trend. So this short-term from this point up is up. The medium turn is down. But if you go from the medium turn over to here, it's getting smaller. So again, you've got upward trajectory here. And it's not too late to get into XOM. So you've got an 11 PE. It's got a 3.48% dividend. Exxon and Chevron are very similar. If I had to pick today which one to actually buy, My preference and my gamble would probably be Chevron. And the reason I would say Chevron is because XOM is pressing up against those highs. You're only 4% off your 52-week high. If I were to look at Chevron, let's look at Chevron. You're 12% off your 52-week high. And here's the other caveat on Chevron as well. You're not only 12%, and it's under 160, which I always say is the pivot point on Chevron. But if the Biden administration opens up Venezuela because they're pissed at OPEC, if they do that, Chevron wins. You're going to see Chevron go to 170. Again, Chevron's going to bounce off this 180 mark. That they're going to use that as resistance. Right now, they're using this 170, 165, 170 mark. Right in this area, they're using that as resistance. But once it breaks through there, it should go to the 180 mark. But while you're holding on to this one, you got a 3.55% dividend. And do I think Chevron's going to all of a sudden come out and say, you know what? Energy's not working. We can't sell gas. No. In a recession, you might see some people pull back. How should I say this politely? The only reason that oil and energy is down is because of the fears of recession and the fear that people will not use as much oil because it's so expensive. There's definitely a use case for the supply and demand balance here. As supply continues to plummet, because that's what we see, the assumption is because of the recession, demand will come down. Well, we didn't see demand come down. What we saw was the United States used the emergency oil reserves to falsely push down the price of oil, which is going away. They announced it's going to be moved back from October to November. They're still pumping oil out of that, but it's at an all-time low. They've got to refill it at some point. The OPEC is pulling back their production. The only place that they could go without opening up new drilling in this country is Venezuela. So it ain't like Iran with the current situation that's going on. They might do a nuclear deal with Iran, but shit, with the woman's stuff that's going on there. And by the way, it's horrific. I have friends who are Iranian. They are horrified, and it's even worse than what you're seeing. I saw some insider kind of family photos yesterday. I say family photos. It was essentially of a guy with his head blown off. And my Iranian friends were saying, hey, we know we told you it was safe, but it's no longer safe. It's not in Iran. So, and Jesse, remember, I'm a boomer, man. I am 52 years old. I may be able to work it on an SSD. I do have a Samsung SSD that I plug into this computer a lot. Maybe I'll do that. One of those little Samsung, because I travel a lot, and those SSDs are they're saviors. I think it's got like 5 terabytes on it. And I just use it for trips. And then I upload it to my RAID at my house. And I sound like a technical wizard, but I'm not. So, okay. Anybody else have anything until I can go for my run? I won't be on tomorrow, just in case you guys didn't hear that. I may put out some stuff on Twitter or Instagram tomorrow if I do some scans. But most likely I'll probably leave at like midnight tonight or something. It takes me, for you guys that don't know, I drive a Tesla. So driving from New Jersey to Atlanta, you make anywhere, depending on the temperature, it's anywhere between 4 and 7 stops. The car guides you. You're not too far off the interstate. It's always within a half mile of the interstate, just like any gas station. And it's anywhere between 15 and 30 minutes. And I like it because I travel with the dogs, and the dogs get to get out of the car. They go pee. I go pee, and I grab something to eat or drink. And by the time I get back to the car, it's time to go. So it's nice. It breaks it up into 2-3 hour kind of 2 or 3 hour kind of blocks there. But anybody else have any other questions? And again, I'm pulling this one up, man. For you guys who think it's too late to get into energy, here, I'm going to screen capture this one. Let's pull this. I think I'm going to do that. No, let's do this. Let me do this. We're going to go. We'll do that, and then I'm going to tweet this out. Tweet. Oh, I don't want to tweet. Oh, man. We're not going to tweet him. We're going to tweet the screenshot that I just did. Oh, what did I do to OBS? Cancel. 10:26. By the way, if you guys are watching now, I'll put it out at some point, but I helped with another podcast you guys might like. I don't know. It depends on if you're into politics, but I did an episode of Election Insider with Rick Barron. Rick Barron is, for you guys that don't know, he's a personal friend, and he is a guy who got caught up in the Georgia elections as he was the director of Fulton County elections. Fulton County is in Atlanta, and he was the director of elections there. And there was a pipe burst where they counted the votes. And there were videos and blah, blah, blah. All of it was completely manipulated with conspiracy theories. Nothing happened. I can tell you as a personal friend, there is nothing. He said it's all on the up and up. Even Raffensperger, even the Secretary of State, even the Attorney General of Georgia, nothing went on. And he kind of got screwed by Fulton County. We are both middle of the road politically. And it was funny because he had one of his... Rick has gotten death threats from Trump supporters saying that he rigged the election for Biden in Georgia and blah, blah, blah. And he had one of his... the Trump people who actually sent him death threats is now a listener to his podcast, Rick Barron, Election Insider with Rick Barron. And this guy listened to myself and Rick talk about the Georgia elections with Herschel Walker, with Stacey Abrams, Brian Kemp, Warnock, the whole deal. And the guy actually said he's a Trumper, and he said, hey, I like the two of you talking about that stuff because you tend to give me positives and negatives of both sides. And so the guy's actually, now a fan. It was a good one. I think when Rick sends me the link. But again, just go on Spotify if you listen and look up Election Insider with Rick Barron of XLE and XLV Tech. No, XL. It's XLK. XLV is healthcare. Think it's too late to energy. It's not. XOM, CVX, Oxy, VNM, DVN, PXD. What are some of the other energy plays that I have? I think those are the ones. Okay. Go look at that tweet. Bam! Okay. Your tweet was sent. I hope I didn't just post it on his page. I guess not. Okay. Okay, you guys, my stomach's rumbling. So I'm going to get going. There's only 3 people watching. So take care. Have a great day. Enjoy you tomorrow. I am out of here. And Jesse, I will take you up on your suggestion. Probably on the next stream if I'm doing it on my laptop, but I'll probably be home. But I'll test it on my laptop when I'm home because I have a gigabit internet at home too. So it'll be better streaming quality. Okay.